Okay, I think we're good. This might not be my first attempt today. Still getting my feet wet in StreamYard and doing this, so hopefully this is all working the way it's supposed to work. Love it. All right, so we are going live again. So excited about doing this series with you guys. And as you know, I'm driving up to Atlanta today. So it is dark outside, but I wanted to make sure that we got this done and we had this conversation. So I also wanted to make an offer to you guys. I had an idea about doing some prizes. I love doing giveaways. Ironically, like gifts are not my love language. I actually got a 0 on that on the test. But I do love surprises. And I would love to be able to offer you guys some gifts along the way because I believe that when we celebrate and we reward ourselves, the longer lasting our habits and changes are going to be. And so why don't we celebrate together? We're doing this together, so we should celebrate. So I want to do a prize for yesterday. And I want to do a prize for today. And I am going to do prizes every single live, except I was a day late on the lives. So I'm just going to add that bonus 5th one. So on the last day, I'm going to do 2 giveaways. And these are going to be fun. They're going to be great things. However, the only way that I can figure out how I can actually do these prizes is to have a little registration. So I made a Google form. I'm going to pop this in the comments and hopefully this works. We will figure it out together. Actually, it looks like it's not letting me do it. I will figure it out and I will go back and add the link in there. All I need is your name and email address so I know where to send the email to tell you that you've won. We're going to do gift cards. We're going to do free coaching. We're going to do some books and some other things that I'm not going to tell you. But I'm super excited about. So we'll get that for yesterday's settled. We'll get today's settled and we will have 3 more after this. So in the top 5 things that I am prioritizing in 2026 that I believe will also help you, number 2 is curiosity. And curiosity is such a beautiful thing. I do this all the time. What I'm about to tell you guys, I do this all the time where people will talk to me, maybe they'll tell me something, and I have this immediate reaction. I have a solution or I have a shared lived experience and I'm going to tell you about when this happened to me or, whatever. We have these ways of viewing life, these perspectives that we bring to life that when we have an experience or we have a conversation with someone, we have this immediate response to it. Very visceral often and very automatic, not something that we really think about too much. And we lose curiosity in that process, right? We lose curiosity. And curiosity is what allows us to grow. Curiosity, God bless it. I hope I don't ruffle too many feathers when I say this, but curiosity is something that a lot of us could use a lot more of right now, especially those of us in America. We could use curiosity in learning other people's perspectives. We could use some more curiosity in learning why people feel the way they feel, or curiosity in what are their lived experiences that maybe might not be mine. And I am viewing the entire world through my lived experience, but what are other people's? What have they learned that has brought to the table for them that I might find value in if I would just shut up long enough to listen and come at it with a perspective of curiosity. And I see this play out over and over again. There was an experience that I had just recently in a public situation. And I'm actually now connected with this person on social media. And I'm going to choose to not tell the story in any kind of detail, but I can tell you that this person was experiencing someone being incredibly rude to them in shocking ways. And my son and I bore witness to this event and decided to speak up. And the way that this woman handled this situation was with wild class and calm. And she chose in this moment where she was being bullied, being being meaned to. I don't know why I said that. That's not real. That's not really how we say things. Someone was being very mean to her and putting her down and belittling her publicly, y'all, publicly. And she deserves $1 million for her response. But she responded to this horrible woman with curiosity. She took a pause and showed restraint in a way that most of us would not be able to, and asked this woman some questions out of love, out of patience, and out of curiosity. And what I learned from watching her show up in that way in the airport was profound. It had an impact on me in a lot of ways, and I'm not going to delve into all of them today, but I really saw in that moment the power of curiosity. What if I were to get curious with other people and ask more questions instead of share more of my own story? What if I were curious about people's why? What if I were curious about doing things a new way? Maybe in my business, maybe in some of my own personal hobbies or how I live my life. What if I were curious about the things that light me up? What if I were curious about spending more time on what my needs are? What if I just approached life with more curiosity? And that's something that I'm prioritizing in 2026. I had a conversation with my son just recently, actually, and he's trying to make a decision about something that he thinks he might want to do, but he's not sure that he wants to. He's really wrestling with it, and he's being pressured from the outside to make a certain decision. And it's just not really, I'm so sorry, I have an itch on my back, y'all. It's not really what he wants. If we could just be really honest, it's not what he wants, but he's feeling a lot of pressure. And I asked him, I said, what if we got curious about this? I said, I'm curious. If you chose option A, how would you feel about it? Okay. If you chose option B, how would you feel about it? And I'm curious, if you chose option A or option B, 6 months from now, how will you feel about that choice? Let's just jump ahead 6 months and reflect back. What will your thoughts be about option A? And what will your thoughts be about option B? And what kind of clarity can he find in that so that he can make a grounded decision for himself outside of all of the pressures of everybody else? So that he can look into himself and say, at 12 years old, this is what I want. And now that I know what I want, how can I stand up for myself? How can I create boundaries around what I know I want? And in that conversation, and he did not arrive at an immediate decision. Y'all, I just want to be super clear. He still hasn't come to a decision, right? But that curiosity allowed him to explore options without pressure, without feeling like he has to do this or that to make this person happy or to meet that expectation. He just has freedom to be himself. And what does that look like for him, right? And curiosity is the door that we can step through in order to explore safely, explore without pressure, without expectation, without obligation, without shoulding all over the place, right? What does that look like? And curiosity gives us the permission and the green light to say, like, actually, let's dream together. Let's figure it out. What if there were no walls here? What if I could build whatever it is that I wanted to build? What would that look like? What would that look like? So, curiosity is what we're bringing in here. And curiosity is a strategy that you can flex individually. Journaling, dreaming, daydreaming. Curiosity is also a strategy you can flex with others. And I would argue it's probably more powerful with others because we've already run through 1,000 scenarios in our own brain. We already know what they are typically, right? But when we have someone to walk us through scenarios, sometimes it can get us further than we can do on our own. Sometimes they'll have other ideas that maybe we didn't have on our own, right? And so that gives us the opportunity to see new perspectives and see new ideas in a different way. And that's one of the things I love about flexing curiosity in community with other people. And we're going to be talking about community even more later on. I want to remind you that I am developing a group. We kick off in less than a month. February 4th, we are starting a group exclusively for women, carefully curated. Every single woman that's in this group has gone through an application process, has opted in, has said, yes, I am open-minded. I want to be in community. I want to be surrounded by other people who are just as incredible as I am. I know I have something to offer, and I know I want to be surrounded by women who are going to pour into me with the same intensity and intention and love and grace and beauty that I'm going to pour into them. And what we are going to create together is a space where we can watch other women thrive, where we can watch other women explore, ask questions, get curious about the options, and watch each other thrive in a way that we never thought we'd be able to, because everyone else in that room wants for everyone else what they want for themselves, which is a grand, big, beautiful life that's lived in the way we want to live it, where we say yes to ourselves, where we prioritize ourselves, and we stop putting ourselves on the back burner and stop feeling guilty about it. If you are interested, we're calling this group The Nest, and I would love to talk to you about it. You can go to my website, purejoylifecoaching.com, and learn more. purejoylifecoaching.com/nest will take you right there. I'll pop it in the comments. You can also just shoot me a message, comment here. I will reach out to you individually and personally and will answer every question you have. But we are kicking off on February 4th, and I cannot be more excited about this. So you have 2 links you need to click on. The first off is register for some freaking prizes, y'all. Register, open up those doors and bring in all that goodness. Register there. And if you're interested in joining the Nest, I would love to talk to you about it. Love to invite you into that space. And I will put that link in there for you. I love you so much. Tomorrow, we are going to get together again. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we are doing all the things. And I cannot wait to continue this conversation. Bye, y'all.